There we go.
All right. So
go ahead.
yeah, so you guys kind of told me, you're just logging that information in your head or on paper. Are you just basically taking like a count of the supply closet at your station, or how does that work?
Yeah, so a few years ago when I started doing it, I went through and inventoried everything, ordered everything that was either out of date or low, and then from there, about once every couple shifts to once a month, I'll go through and re-inventory it, check expiration dates, order low supplies.
So do the crews, when they're restocking like their medic units or their engines or whatever, they're just grabbing from that supply closet, and then you're just kind of looking at the supply closet when it hits a certain threshold, that's when you need to order?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, that's how most people are doing it, honestly. Even if it's not digital, it's you're just kind of taking account of what's there versus knowing everything that's on every med bag, because you're probably stocking the same amounts on those, right? If I use out some gauze on a call or something, I could just go to the supply closet, grab it, and then you guys are concerned with when it hits a threshold to reorder that from your suppliers.
Correct.
Okay, wonderful. So what I'll do here is I'll show you our demo site, and again, it's not going to be set up exactly the way that yours would be. We can customize it for you, but we'll go through kind of some different events in the system, what you guys as administrators would typically do, as well as what your medics or your other personnel would do in the system. So right now we have the perform inventory check listed right up here at the top of the screen. You can also click in here to the sidebar and go to perform inventory check from here. It's going to have different check types listed out. So an inventory count is I'm just counting what supplies I have. Transfer is an internal transfer from one location to another. You might not even need this one. No. But if it's warehouse to a supply closet or a supply closet to a med bag or whatever. So a lot of departments don't even use this. Okay. A usage, if you guys are needing to log what gets used on a call for purposes of getting reimbursed for that item, you can log a usage. Restock from vendor would be when I order from the supplier and I get something, I basically am restocking my supply closet. And then this one's actually a combination of the usage and the transfer events. I don't think you'll use it, but it's basically if I go on a call and I use some supplies out, I can log that I used it, and then I could at the same time transfer it from my supply location. Okay. Now we can customize these fields, meaning that we can hide or show depending on your access level, right? So typically we just give your medics like an inventory count. Sometimes we don't even have the medics seeing the module at all, and it's just for you guys. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take an inventory count here on our supply closet, and I'm going to hit begin check. By the way, this is an as needed check, meaning I can log this whenever I need to, but you can also schedule an inventory check. So if you wanted it to pop up every week that, hey, we need to inventory the supply closet, it will just show on your home screen that you need to do that. I'm going to hit begin check here. And what you'll see here is a list of, these are called subcontainers. So I've got my container is my supply closet. And within that supply closet, I have a main compartment, I have EMS supplies, and I have station supplies, hazmat supplies. These are all things, you can consider them like categories, or you can even have it broken down by shelf, right? Shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3. And you can select which items you want to restock. Now we have the item name here. You also have the ability to turn on a barcode, which basically just appends a label or a barcode to that specific item. Honestly, most departments aren't really doing that. It's a little, in our world, it's sometimes unnecessary because you can easily search out by the item name. Over here, you've got your quantity on hand. Now, what this little color key indicates is Once you hit red, you're below minimum. Yellow, you're at your minimum. Anything in between is not colored. And then you've got your at max and above max. Okay, so what we try and do on this form is we try and make it really easy to see what you're low on. So everything right now is set to our max levels here. Okay, now we'll obviously adjust this and we'll use some stuff out, or we'll take low quantities or whatever, and that will change. But let's just grab everything in the main compartment and the EMS supply location. We're going to hit continue here. Now, this step would be bypassed if you're scheduling the inspection. You would just go directly to the inventory count for everything. But in this case, we're selecting what we want to count, and then we're going in and we're counting it. Okay. So what you see over here, there's the item and barcode, all that information. Our quantity on hand, all we're doing is we're adjusting our quantities using the plus or minuses, or we can click in here and we can take that down that way if we wanted to. And it will adjust our quantity on hand and display that color if we're going below our minimum. We have two kinds of items here. We have advanced items and basic items. So our basic items are going to be like these four right here. They don't require a lot number or an expiration date. So it's really easy to count them, right? And so most of your supplies are probably like that, with maybe the exception of medications and other things that you want to track expiration dates for. But when we do this, we're adjusting our quantities here, just like that. When I get to Narcan or any advanced item, we can't just say I've got 6 on hand. You've got to say I've got this many of this expiration and this many of this expiration, right? Mm-hmm. So you can see here, it's kind of a tally or a total of these little subcategories here. So let's say that we can see that this expired. So if I wanted to remove that out or expire that, I can just say, let's get that to 0. It's going to actually remove all of those items out because they're expired. It's also going to log that they got expired so that we can see in reports, what got expired versus what didn't. And then I can, at the same time, add new lot numbers and expiration dates. Or if I'm just replacing the one, an existing one right here, then I could do that. There's a little bug there that should go down to 0. Just jump in here. And if I needed to add a brand new instance of the item, I would come in here and I would say, okay, well, we're going to throw in this new lot number, and this expires on July 31st. Okay. And then I would input how many I have. So in this case, I'm at my minimum level, which is why it flags in that yellow color. If I were to go below that, it would flag in red. And then if I go above it, then it's just going to be blank there. When I come through here and I do, so we just make some adjustments here like that. Once I log the items, what's going to happen is anything in red is basically going to get removed out of the system. Okay. It's going to send us an alert that those items are low. So we're going to log these items. Because I'm expiring items, it's going to ask me to confirm that I'm expiring them. And I just hit confirm. And then what we'll see here is on our right-hand side on this open alerts page, we'll see that we have alerts for any of the items that just went below par or below our min, excuse me. So if I click on that, we only show 3 on there, and then you click view all items and it will show all of them that got removed out. Okay. You would get an automatic alert for this if you wanted to. It would send you that alert notification and say, hey, this is basically your shopping list, right? And then from there, you could come in and resupply those once you reorder them or get them from another source. You could come back in and take another inventory count or do a restock from vendor. Okay. Now you obviously set your min and max levels here, which will dictate, when you get these alert notifications, and you could be constantly adjusting those as supply needs change as well. So, with COVID, everything is back ordered, it seems like. So you can just raise that threshold a little bit higher, so that you're notified sooner if it's going to be, a month or two before you can get some supplies. Okay. These alerts are dynamic, meaning once I update the quantity, it will clear that out of the alert. All right. I'll show you that in just a second. But before I do that, I also want to show you a couple reports here while we have some items that are low. If I come in here to inventory, logs and reports, I'm going to run a below min report here. And essentially, if it sounds like you guys are a smaller agency, you don't have a bunch of different locations, right?
Right.
That you're okay. If you did have multiple warehouses or multiple supply closets, or if you did start to track it on your medic units or things like that, you could just come in here, and this is essentially just a list of all of the items that are low here. So you can see, I'm just going to run it for everything, and then I could just filter it by my supply closet. And there's the items that are low for us. I have some right in there as well. Right, one's in a sub container there. But it basically allows you to see everything that is below your quantity, and then you can export that out to a print doc, an Excel, or a PDF. And again, that's your shopping list. So they're kind of the same view. For you guys, it would be, I would probably just use those alerts realistically. But if you did start to add multiple units, you can do it this way. Let's jump back to our inventory check here. So let's say you reorder those items from your vendor. You could come in here, do your restock from vendor. And we're going to restock Station 1 supply closet. Now, the nice thing with the colors here is we know kind of what we need to restock. We don't have to go down the list and put zeros for everything else. We can just click into those fields and just restock those items. So maybe we got everything, or we got these three, but we didn't get any thermometers because they're on back order. We can just come in here, hit continue, and then we can restock whatever we got. So say, hey, we got, 2 of these, which would actually put us above our max, which is fine. We got a couple of these, and then the 4x4s, we got 1 of those. So we're setting everything back to our maximum level. There's going to be our quantity on hand after we log this restock. So once I hit log items, what we should see is that alert will update, and we should only have 1 item left now. Right there. Okay, and then we would do the same thing when we go in and restock our thermometer. Now, you don't have to do the restock from supplier. You can honestly just do an inventory count if you wanted to. The only difference is in your logs, it would just show everything that you're just inventorying. It wouldn't show a separate event type for a restock, but sometimes that doesn't really matter, right? So questions so far on this?
Is there a way to, instead of like doing a complete inventory, like say we go in there and we do the complete inventory and see how many are left of it, is there a way to, if we were to use a barcode and make this firefighter proof, is there a way to, at 3 o'clock in the morning, have the guys go in the room, they pull Zofran off the shelf, they scan it, it auto deducts from the total amount on the inventory list, and then they just walk out so they can restock the bag and go back to sleep? Is there a way to do that where we don't have to go in, log in, go into the inventory, do a check, subtract or add, click confirm, and then leave? Because honestly, that's not realistically going to happen.
Yeah.
If you I don't know if you guys are have you worked in the fire service, but that's not realistic at 3 a.m. May happen the next day when we inventory everything again. But Is there a way to do that?
So the deal with bar, so one is you have to be signed into the system. That's just
Right. Okay.
regardless of how you do that. All the barcode is, and I always joke with the sales side because I think barcodes are they're much better in theory than they are in practice, right? So I'd still have to go in, I still have to identify what I'm taking. It's just a matter of, am I typing in a barcode or scanning a barcode, or am I scanning or am I typing out a name?
Gotcha.
So my recommendation is, you can either go in, you still have to go in, you have to do your inventory count. There's no way around that.
Okay.
And then you would go in, select your item. I could either scan using a barcode and I could type out, it basically just scans that code and filters it out for us.
Okay.
Or I could just I could start typing out, gloves, and it will allow me to select those.
Okay.
To your point of, the being realistic about how people are going to use this, the thing that we've found is it's unrealistic to expect everybody, even if it's not 3 a.m. It's kind of unrealistic to expect everybody to go in and log when they use something out every single time that they use it, depending on your call volume.
Right.
That's why we kind of recommend, having maybe just a scheduled inventory count from your supply closet, from administrators, right? So once a week we go through and we'll catch all the things that have been taken out during the course of that week. But I mean, that's completely up to you guys. If it's barcoded or not, there's not a way of just like scan it and then it just knows how many to take out, what container you're taking it out from, right?
Gotcha.
So you kind of have to identify that stuff first, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as like an Excel document, is there a way to update these numbers based on an Excel, like an updated Excel document? Is that possible?
You would update the quantities,
like
being able to import it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry. So like instead of going through and clicking on every one of these, like if because I'm able to make an Excel document where we can just go through all the stuff, because everything's going to have different barcodes on it associated with different numbers and everything. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So if we just went through and scanned, every one of them really quickly, have it update on an Excel document and then upload it into PSTrax, is that possible? And then it would just auto update the numbers?
It's not possible to import that information.
Okay.
What we have departments doing is this. We added this export option recently. So you can literally just export this out and it gives it to you like this. And they'll just go in and they'll, put their QOH or their updated QOH. And say we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, and then just use that, because when you're if you just fill it out on paper, you print this off, you write it down or whatever, and then you could just come in here and really quickly go through and just update your quantities. So that you're not on your phone at the supply closet and logging things that way.
Makes sense. Yeah, you can just do it really quickly later on.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, we don't have that ability to just import that and then update your quantities on hand. There's a lot of mapping that would have to happen with the the item versus what the database reads as the item.
Sure.
So that's our solution to that one. Which we have a lot of people doing, just printing it off and manually, just updating it as they go.
So the only way to say we created an Excel sheet where it would automatically deduct a unit when we scanned it. We would print that Excel sheet out and then go into the y'all's program and then manually update it based on what that Excel sheet shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you basically, and all the Excel sheet does, or the PDF, however you export it, all that does is it just makes it so that you can write down the quantities on paper, versus having your phone out there. Now, you could skip the middleman by just having your phone out there and doing it that way, but depends on, if your Wi-Fi connection's bad or something like that. Sometimes it's easier just to put it all in a file and then just go down the list, and it would take even if you have a couple hundred items, it should be in the exact same order. So it's just a matter of just going down and updating those values.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, good questions, guys. Anything else?
I think so.
I think our main goal from this was to try and determine if we could just automatically deduct units through a barcode reader. I guess we could do that on our end, and then I would go through and update the quantities from the Excel sheet that we could generate with the barcode scanner.
Yeah, and like I said, a barcode reader is just all it is just text to us, right? It's a text that's linked to the item name. So it's, like I said, I think just from my experience, it's the only time I think it makes sense, and this is, take it or leave it, but if I scan a barcode, that's nice if I don't know the name of the item. So let's say that this is called something different than petroleum gauze, and I don't know what it's actually called in PSTrax. Well, scanning a barcode will pull that out of the list pretty easily. But otherwise, it's if you organize this information in kind of the way that your supply closet is listed out in, then I think it's more just like going down the list. Okay, I'm looking at my oral glucose tabs, I'm looking at my gauze, I'm looking at my 4x4s, but that's my 2 cents. I don't know exactly how you guys do it in your department, and I'm obviously not a medic. So but yeah, so unfortunately the answer is you can't just scan it and it automatically deducts it. You have to identify where it is, what the item is that you're pulling, and then adjust the quantity.
Okay, cool. All right, good deal.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. One of our other guys that was talking to somebody on y'all's end, Brandon Burns, he said that we might have already had this. I was talking to him just like 2 days ago, and he said we might already have this inventory module. I'm not sure if we paid for it. I don't do the payment side. I just do the boots on the ground side. Is that something that? What's
You
that?
have the vehicle station, SCBA, PPE, and critical assets modules. The only
Okay.
2 modules you don't have are this one and the controlled substance modules.
Okay, gotcha. Can you send us over a quote for the inventory module? I don't think we need controlled substance just yet. We're
Okay.
still working on all of our licensing and everything for that, but if you could send that over, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I can. I will revise it. I sent one a while ago, but I need to revise it anyway because we have a new system that we have to use anyway. So I'll revise it on our new system for you. And then Jesse, do you want me to just send that to you? Is that the best?
Yeah, that's fine. If you just want to send it to me, that'd be fine.
Okay, and let me just make sure I know I have the right email, but I always double check. jbowles@tcesd10.com, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have something to you by the end of the day, if that's okay.
Perfect, that'd be great.
Okay. Were there any other questions that you guys had while we were on? Anything else about your other modules or anything while we're visiting
I don't
today?
think so. No, we've had some operational changes lately, so we're a little slower getting up and running than we originally thought. So I guess the answer is I don't know if I have any questions yet because I haven't played with it enough.
Okay.
Is there a demo or something that we could punch through before we make the purchase for the inventory module, or for maybe like a 7-day trial thing kind of thing, or something that way we can make sure it's going to work for what we need?
Yeah, I mean, Nathan, what would you feel most comfortable with on that? I know before when we would do like that kind of trial, we were using the
Sandbox.
the the sandbox,
COVID
which Ryan
inventories.
asked us, not to do because it turned out to be too
Yeah.
many hands in there and it got
Yeah.
kind of ugly. Sorry, guys, it just did. We were like, hands, now we have to fix everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that we've also had the option of like when we were doing COVID supplies as a free trial. Nathan, what are you guys kind of doing on the production side of things? What would be easiest for you?
I think the easiest thing, so we don't is not to build out like a separate module or not to build out a separate system where you guys have separate logins and stuff. I think we can just turn on the module for you guys
Okay,
and then follow up with you on it. It wouldn't have any items loaded in,
that's
but
fine.
we have videos on how to item. So maybe you just add a couple items, add a couple containers or your supply closet. It's
Yeah,
really simple to do.
Like 10 items. would
just
be
add
plenty.
10 items and
Yeah.
just see how it goes, and for the next 7 to 10 days or something like that. And then
Perfect.
if we want to keep it, then cool. And obviously, if
Yep.
not, then just turn it off.
I think what I'd like to do in that instance is keep it on for like 2 weeks solid
Okay.
for you guys. So that gives you plenty of time to kind of get in there, knock on it a bit.
That'd be
um,
perfect.
And then I can send you that updated quote. So Nathan, I'll make a note on my end too, just to touch base with them like in about, 2 weeks, see how they're doing with it. And then that's kind of cool too, because then it's already up and running and you've already kind of gotten into it. And we don't do that, just so you guys know, we don't do that with any of the other modules. This is
No, I
the one
appreciate
module
that.
we will do that with, just so you know,
Sure.
just because it is so, it's so specific. So
Yeah.
definitely we can do that for you.
Well, thank you very much.
Let
Yeah,
me
absolutely.
let me clarify something here. So Miller is I see you're in here. Is it Miller Egan? Is that
Yes.
last name? Okay, so I see you're in here twice actually.
That's because we.
Yeah, we messed that up.
Okay, no worries. Well, let's here while we're on the topic, let me which one do you use as your login, or do you want to use?
We'll use the one with the ID filled out.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll just deactivate this one here. And then the reason I ask is because I'm just going to give you two gentlemen access to the module. So we don't, if anybody else logs in, we're not freaking them out with, with the stuff they're unfamiliar with. But I'll give you guys both administrative rights to the module, and then I'll send you some videos or have Sally send them about how to add items, how to add containers, and then go from there. And the only other thing that I'll say is you do not have to add all your items in the system if you decide to move forward. You can just send us a spreadsheet of everything that you have, and then we'll import it for you, because
Okay, cool.
it takes a while to add 200 items one at a time. So,
Yeah, I can imagine.
yeah. So, all right. I just wanted to clarify that. And then Jesse, you're okay. You just got the one in there, so we're good. I'll set that up. All right.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you, Nathan, again. Robbie, did you have something?
Yeah, one more quick question. Since we're recording it, would you gentlemen like us to send you the recording and share it with anyone of today's meeting?
Sure, yeah, if you want to send it to my email, that'd be great, just in case we need to reference something that
Okay.
Nathan was talking about.
We'll send that recording of today's along with inventory webinar too, if you want to peek around at that, and then
Perfect.
yeah, turn this on and get a few items in there and start playing around with it. That's always the best.
Cool.
So,
Excellent.
okay.
Thank y'all very much.
Yeah. Thanks for your
Thank
time
you.
this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll have something to you here shortly. Okay. Thank you again so much for
All
your
right.
time.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
guys.
All right, bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.